Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to find out how subtraction is done when we're dealing with equations, okay? So first of all, to find that out, we need our equation, okay? So there it is. So let's say we have the following equation, 2 plus x is equal to 4. Now, the way we're going to be doing the subtraction is by exactly how we did the addition instead of the instead of adding, we're going to be doing the subtraction over here. Now, the first thing is that we are going to be subtracting the same number, choose one number, 2, 5 or 25, but you're going to put that on both sides. We're going to put it on both sides. So let's say we put 2 over here, okay? So you're going to be, because we chose 2 and because we're subtracting, we put negative 2 over there and we put that on both sides, and that way we don't affect the equality, okay? The equality holds. Now let's say we put 5 over here. We chose the number 5. We don't want to. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put 5, but we're going to add the negative side because we're subtracting, and we're going to put it on both sides. Similarly, if we chose the number 25, same. We're going to put 25 over there, negative because we're subtracting, and going to put that on both sides. That way the equality holds, and we don't have to worry about the equation not being true. The equation is still true in this case. And reason being, if you actually think about it, is because we're not actually adding anything. We are just like, we are more like whatever we add, we take out on both sides, okay? So let's actually look at our visual approach over here. We're still going to be using our scales in this case. Now, let's say you have some of the stuff over here, okay? We have the mystery box and an orange and 3 oranges on the right hand side. And we're going to say, let's say let's say the scale is balanced over here, okay? Let's say the balance, it's the balanced scale, 90 degrees. Now, what does that actually mean? It means that the mystery box with that orange, okay, have the same weight as those 3 oranges. Now, if I ask you right now, what do you think? How many oranges are in that mystery box? You can actually say right now that there might be 2 oranges if there are just oranges in that mystery box, right? And how do you actually find that out? How did you actually do that? The way you actually did that is by taking out the same oranges, okay? We take one orange out from both sides, and we can actually say that the mystery box is equal to 2 oranges, right? It has the same weight as the 2 oranges, and we can actually say without even looking inside the box that the box contains 2 oranges. Now this is actually also an example of an equation. Now we can actually say that this equation, that the situation above can be represented with an equation, well, like x is equal to 2, because if you remember in the previous video, x is going to be our mystery box, and any number 2, 4, 5 are just going to be the amount of oranges that we're going to have. Okay, so again, mystery box is going to be our x, and the oranges are just going to be the normal numbers that we have. Okay, so let's actually look at an actual example where we are going to be using the whole property of subtraction. Okay, now first of all, let's say you have the following equation and you want to find x. Now when we say that we want to find x, what we're actually telling is that we want x to be isolated, right? We want the mystery box to be alone on that scale, on one part of the scale, so that we can actually say that whatever is on the right hand side is going to be equal to that, equal to the weight of that mystery box, right? So we're going to be doing the same thing over here. Now let's say you want to isolate x, we want to find x. Now how are you actually going to get rid of that 2 which is right beside x? We're going to be subtracting that 2, right? You can subtract the 2, add the 2 on both sides, actually subtract the 2 on both sides, okay? Now we actually did that, right? And nothing changed. The equation is still balanced. The equation is still true because we followed the rule, okay? Now negative 2 added to 2 is going to be equal to 0. Now 3 negative 2 is going to be equal to 1, right? Normal subtraction. But just it's just a fancy way of doing this when we're dealing with equations, but you just have to follow some of the rules, and after that these are just normal subtractions. Now we get the final answer x is equal to 1, and that is going to be our answer. Now what does this actually mean? This means that the mystery box is equal to 1 orange. Another example. Now let's say you have 7 added to x is equal to 5. Now again, you have 7 oranges with a mystery box on the left hand side, and you have 5 oranges on the right hand side. Now now if you actually find out the weight of the mystery box, the amount of oranges in the mystery box, without actually even looking into it, you need to find x, and the way you do that is by isolating it, which means to get rid of the 7. And when we try to get rid of the 7, we subtract it with another 7. And because this is an equation, we have to do the same thing on the right hand side so that the equation holds. Now negative 7 added to 7, that gives us 0, right? 5 subtracted with 5, negative 7 is equal to negative 2. So you get the final answer, x is equal to negative 2. Now what does this actually mean? Now let's actually say that there are helium balloons that are attached to like the right hand side, the right hand scale, and we have the oranges there, and the helium balloon is so powerful that it actually, it floats it up. Okay, it actually tilts it in favor of the mystery box. So this is actually how you can actually visualize this. Okay, so let's actually look at another example. So let's say you have the following: 3 by 2 added to x is equal to 0. Now again, we want to find x, so we need to have the x isolated. And the way you're going to be isolating the x is by removing any number that you have on the left hand side, namely 3 by 2 in this case. Now the way you can get rid of that 3 by 2 is by subtracting it with subtracting it with positive 3 by 2. We subtract it with positive 3 by 2, okay, and we get the answer on the left hand side is just equal to 0, and on the right hand side is going to be equal to negative 3 by 2. So we actually get the answer x is equal to negative 3 by 2. So okay, so that is all there is to subtraction. Whatever number you choose, you put it on both sides, and away you go. Okay, so thank you for watching, and I really hope you learned something.